Alright, what is going on, my dudes? We are back here today with another absolutely enormous video. There is so much content in this one, so we're just going to start jumping right into it today. As you can see, we have got the King in Black at rank 4, Sig 200, and holy crap, guys. Let me tell you, man, this guy absolutely freaking slaps at rank 4. Before I took this guy to rank 4, man, funny enough, I pretty much only used him like during that Karina's challenge where you had to use the Symbiotes and the Spider-Verse champions, right? Had him at rank 3 unduped. I then duped him from Act 7 rewards, pulled a 3 to 4 Cosmic Gem. That same night, put 180 SIGs into him, took him up to rank 4, and I've been in love ever since. One of the most amazing things about Knull is he does not need any synergies, but if I were to make a synergy team that you're going to be seeing a lot in this video, this is essentially what it would be. His, best synergies here, at least. All champions except Knull gain 2% attack rating for each of Knull's active synergy bonuses. That's really cool. That doesn't even affect Knull, right? But over here, when the opponent is immune to an effect, you gain a Fury buff. And this is actually really, really nice, man. Over here, I love this. Unblockable special attacks. Absolutely awesome. 15% energize essentially when they're corrupted, and over here plus 15% attack rating while the opponent is corrupted. Now all of that is extremely very, very nice, man, and we're gonna start out with an absolute freaking banger today. Seriously, I cannot stress this enough. Do not blink or else you might miss it. Alright, so we're fully ramped up here against the 6.2 champion boss with Knull. Keep in mind, we are still at a full yellow bar. That's how sustainable this dude is, man. He is so tanky, alright? We're fully ramped up. This is so unbelievably overkill, but we're doing it anyway. The champion right now is at 100% health. Let's watch what happens when we convert all of our living abyss debuffs into armor breaks. Oh, and that's it. We're done. That's it. Done with the fight. Pretty freaking insane, man. So obviously, right, ramping up that high, not necessary outside of like the Abyss, Labyrinth, and even then, man, it's not necessary in that kind of content, either. Like going all the way to 99. It's cool. It's fun. We have a bunch of Abyss fights and Labyrinth fights in this video. We're going to skip the ramp up. I'm just going to show you the end result, right? And of course I ramp up all the way in there because it's super fun to see, But one downside to Knull in this fight, okay, is that his armor breaks reduce combat power rate on the defender, right? So I'm hitting him, I'm trying to push him to special attacks. He's just essentially not gaining any power, right? Now here I made a mistake. I went for the special 3. I was like, oh, I'll give him power, but then I was like, wait a minute, I just did the same thing. I got into the same cycle here, and he's not gonna have power, right? But we got 2 dexes over there, right? We're slowly but surely giving him power. But now, man, I want to show you this. Wait till you see this special one with the prowess when it comes to the lifesteal here. It's gonna happen in like 1 second. Look, we're at 19% health, and now we're all the way up to 93% health, man. So we're starting off, like I said, with an absolute banger. We're showing how much of an absolute monster Knull is. How about we just skip to the part here where we dex the last thing. We're in corruption still. Finally, we're done. And boom, there we go. All of that, man, we dropped down to 13% health at one point, all the way back up to 100% health. And the King in freaking Black just demolished it, aside from the last 10%. Could have done that a little bit better, but I wasn't doing it again, right? So let's start jumping into another fight, man. This one is going to be 6.2 Mordo. You guys know I love this fight almost as much as the champion boss, right? So this is a fun one too. Now Knull is a cosmic champion, right? He's a cosmic champion, but he doesn't really have too many buffs. Now keep in mind, some of the synergies that I'm using in this video give him buffs. Okay, so if I were to go back and do this again, I probably wouldn't have those synergy members with me, but hey man, you live, you learn, alright? But What's so great is that on his mediums, his heavy attacks, and his special ones, he gains a true accuracy. Essentially, right? That means that he's not going to be evaded by Mordo. So I can parry heavy, I can parry medium, right? Pretty solid stuff, man. Now, of course, Mordo has Spite here, if you don't know, right? So now we have that Energize buff just constantly going, man. And I was like, when that happened, I was like, that's unfortunate. But honestly, man, the damage is so freaking nuts that it's not going to be that much of an issue. So this here, right? Class disadvantage. Class disadvantage against Mordo, right? We didn't ramp up. We just went special 1, special 2. And he's like being completely flushed down the toilet here, right? He's down to 9% health. Of course, we're eating a combo at the end, keeping it a little bit interesting, right? Gonna end here in corruption. Can we finish it off with the special 1? Yes, we can. Yes, we freaking can, man. Pretty solid stuff. Now, it wouldn't be a rank up video without a Winter Soldier fight, right? So why don't we just go in and just see like how he does against a solid 550,000 health pool, right? Opponent that Winter Soldier is. Just have a good time. Show you how you want to go about using Knull in everyday scenarios, right? Because he's so good for general questing, man, like Cav event quests, side quests. I've been using him probably my most used champion since I ranked him up. He's just, the more I use him, the more I love him, dude. He's so good. He's so good. And at max sig, you really notice a difference at max sig, man. It like it literally takes away the ramp up, to be entirely honest. There's no ramp with this guy. You just get to the special 1, and then you go for your, by the time corruption is here, right? I'm going for the special 2, and keep in mind, right, Winter Soldier has 550,000 health, so one special 2 here, it's about 275,000 health, which is really, like, seriously, like, very good, right? We have 52 armor breaks, we're doing 20k mediums, we're doing 20k light attacks too, man, with all of the red numbers as well. It's just like, you know, very solid. We can go for a special 1 here, or just a special 2, either one would finish the fight. Absolutely crazy. Now when it comes to like utility stuff, man, this is Realm of Legends Wolverine. Let's just like look at all those debuffs, man. Now obviously you guys know Wolverine, he has a thing with the healing, right? If you run Despair, you only need 1 point in Despair. That's all you really need here. And you're done. You will not see any healing. Now, if you run the Petrify Mastery, you can kind of reverse the healing just a little bit, right? As you can see right there, you can reverse it a little bit. But also, with his Sig ability at Sig 200, from here on out, below 50% health, while he's corrupted, you will not see another regeneration because it gets turned into degeneration. So this fight went even faster than Winter Soldier. Just like absolutely freaking crazy, man. And up next, we're going to 6.1 Sabretooth. 6.1 Sabretooth, you guys know this one. He's got Oscillate, right? You can't reverse its healing, but you can very easily block his healing, right? Now, one thing about Knull that I feel like people very often like don't talk about is that he is semi-resistant to degen. So this no retreat node here, don't really have to worry about it, okay? Now, the strat here is pretty simple. I want him to enter corruption, right, at like just about 2 bars of power here, so we can bait out a special attack ideally. If not the biggest deal in the world, you know, while he's doing the armor thing. But when we're hitting him, we really don't have to worry about giving too much power. So watch his power bar here. Really solid, like, power control. It's not so much power control because he can't, like, reverse any healing there, right? By, like, any stretch of the imagination. By healing, I mean power. But he can limit the amount of power that he gives the defender, which is extremely solid. Now, there's so much you can do with this. There's also, like, the mastery, like I said, I think it's Petrify. That when they're stunned, they gain even less power, 30% reduced power. On top of that, you can throw in a Mr. Fantastic suppression, drop it down by another 25%, you're pretty much going to be giving them 0 power with the suppression on while they're stunned with the right amount of armor breaks, which is actually pretty crazy, man. The way that Knull controls the fight once he gets corruption up, which as you can see happens extremely quickly, is very impressive, man. Up next, this is Wolverine, Weapon X in 7.1.4. All right, there aren't any crazy nodes here. It's just like a really beefy Weapon X that's like even more aggressive, and like his bleeds do a lot of damage, right? Now, what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna use Knull. We're gonna be Knull, and we're gonna like do a crap ton of damage, and that's going to be pretty much the strat, is to just be Knull. And that's a pretty decent strat at the end of the day, right? So at this point, right, we can't control his healing here because he's immune to despair. That's just in his base kit. You can't mess him up with despair, right? Makes him a really good defender. But as you can see, we have 29 armor breaks, now 39, because the special 2 adds 10. After the first special 2, down to 54% health, and now even lower. And now, he won't be getting any more regens after this, man, because he's corrupted, right? Gotta watch out for the unstoppable here. And light intercept, there we go, man. All those degens are when he's trying to regenerate. Knull is actually a very, very decent Weapon X counter because of that. Wouldn't suggest you do that in like War or anywhere like that. It'd get a little tricky, right? But in casual questing, why not? Nova, the biggest Nova in the game, 550,000 health. Now, he can't auto block us. He can't do it because we got true accuracy on the medium. It's like the little tiny pieces of utility that make a champion absolutely insane. And that's an example right there, right? Nova can't auto block us when we're going in for a medium, right? Pretty crazy stuff. So at this point, right, we're going for like our corner intercepts here. There's the burnout node here, or whatever the heck the node is, where he can't gain power for whatever reason. I don't even remember why. Now, we do have unblockable specials with this synergy. So you ideally don't want unblockable specials against Nova. Not the biggest deal, right? Our basics do like so much damage that it really doesn't matter that we were unblockable there. But as you can see, man, holy crap, we completely just annihilated this guy. Of course, he's getting in some like last minute hits. Not the biggest deal in the world there, to be entirely honest, because we got a little intercept and finished him right off. But dude, that Nova is no slouch, man. That's a big 550,000 health Nova boss in Act 7.2. And Knull just pretty much flushed him right down the toilet, as you know we like to do on this channel, right? Just annihilated him. So, speaking of 7.2, we're back in 7.2.1 with Magneto here. There's that moth to a flame node, right? Where like you can't knock him down when you have like 10 of those passives up there. Also, this is another fight that has spite. So if I can go back in time, do this again, I would do it in a way where, you know, I didn't have my synergies that were giving me buffs the entire time, right? So, not the biggest deal though. I think it's like fine, you know, like it is fine because we got through it fine. Otherwise it wouldn't be in the video, right? So unblockable special attacks here as well. Gotta watch out for that annoying special 2, right? Now watch his power, man. He's got spite going. He's got spite, so I'm saying to myself, oh boy, all right, that's probably fine. Just gotta keep an eye on that power bar. I can't control the fight as well as I usually like to, right? But we can go for a nice special 1, get another corruption cycle going. So in the meantime, right, let's just wait for that corruption to come back, stack some more Living Abyss so we can get some more armor breaks, beat out the special 2. Oh man, I'm saying to myself, if we can get to a special 2 of our own, we're probably going to be fine here. We're going to chance it. Let's see what happens. Ooh, okay. And there we go. Push him to a special 3 at the end, but we got him. Got him just fine. Up next, man, speaking of mags, 7.2.5 white mags. What we got going on here is some more unblockable specials and also special connoisseur. How do you get the prowess buffs? Well, you get them by hitting them in the corner, just like that. Stack limit of 10, and they go away when you use your special attack. We're only going to be doing damage on our special attacks that have prowess, right? So now, what I want to do is stack as many Living Abyss debuffs as I possibly can before, corruption happens here. And then I want to go for a nice, beefy special 2 with the Fury from him being immune to the bleed on light attacks. 10, okay, prowess. We got 0 crits there, man. That was unfortunate, to be entirely honest, that we got literally 0 crits. But that's fine, because we're going to make our way back up to another special 2. By the way, man, I've never tried Knull with like a 200% cosmic power back boost, but I imagine it's pretty freaking sweet. So we're going for oh, look at those big yellow numbers, dude. And unfortunately, if we only got 1 more crit, we would have been good to freaking go. But we're going to have to settle for a special 1 finish, which isn't the worst thing in the world. We kind of nuked both of those Magnetos right down the toilet like it was absolutely nothing. Up next is an interesting one, Variant 5 Sim Spidey. I did this one with Spidey 2099, and I was like, he's surprisingly so good for it. Well, like, wait till you see what Knull does to this guy, man. This is, of course, the variant where you can only use Spider-Verse and Mystic and also symbiotes, right? So, as you can see, the evade keeps failing. Or I don't know if I did this with Spidey 2099. I did it with Anti-Venom, is who I believe I did it with. Because of like the slow or whatever that he's got, the decelerate. But Knull has that amazing true accuracy always on mediums. And now we're gonna control that power if he like lets us, but he's being like really weird and passive. But we got a light intercept. We only have 26 armor breaks, which is like less than ideal. There is kinetic transference here, but it honestly doesn't matter because we're gonna kill him with the first special 2. That's a boss, guys. That's a big bad variant 5 boss. Just special 1, special 2. And that's just all it takes. And you guys know this variant boss, right? This is the guy, Ultron, that I'm always like, this dude is so hard. He gave me so much trouble back in the day. Spidey 2099 completely wrecked this dude the other day when we uploaded that video, right? Because of no buffs, EMP modification here is going to be really hard on most champions in the game, especially because you can only do this fight with Cosmic and Science champions. Not too many of those guys who are shock immune, right? There are a few that are immune to buffs, but Knull, like I said, doesn't have too many buffs here. So I recorded this like pretty much last after all those fights with Spite. I learned, guys, I'm not gonna have, imagine if I brought the synergy that gave me a Fury on every light attack, I would be dead by 1 EMP modification shock. But regardless, man, we're doing okay here. So check it out. At 6200, watch this. No regen by Ultron ever. At 50%, at 25%, check it out. Ready? Processing. Process that degen, bro. Process that freaking degen, man. Let me know how it feels, dude. Probably doesn't feel too good. Probably feels like degen, which doesn't feel too good, So yeah, man. Yeah, so we're down, though, to 42% health. With fisticuffs, it's almost like you're doing this fight with an unduped Knull, right? With fisticuffs, because you start with 0 Living Abyss on the defender, you start without suicides on yourself, which takes away that sustainability factor on him. So, Knull, at the end of the day, we've shown a lot of fights so far. We have a lot of fights coming up. This one, not the best fight for him. He got through it fine enough. It took like 90 seconds, but like I always say, man, this is a freaking hard fight. So it's impressive to be enough that he can do it. It wasn't the prettiest fight. We didn't really mess up, and we finished at 40% health. So make of that what you will, right? Speaking of variants, since we're doing variant content right now, this one's less impressive, more fun. So this is variant 6 Joe Fixit. We got this madness node here. When triggering an armor break debuff, villain attackers will also apply a passive power lock to the defender, which will last until the last armor break ends. Now, if you've never used Knull before and you happen to be listening to this like a podcast and you don't know, Knull essentially has armor breaks on the defender the entire fight. So once we put that first corruption on Joe Fixit, he's gonna be power locked. That boy is gonna be he's gonna be pretty power locked here. So there are some other nodes as well that make this like, you know, hard or whatever. But Knull, he's not gonna care, man. He's just not gonna. There's strike back, but that's actually gonna help us here because I don't want to bait out a special 1. I want to bait out a special 2, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get a reparry, and then purposefully give him power. So there we go, man. There we friggin' go. All right, he put a disorient on us. Joe Fixit is low-key, like, a very annoying defender ever since his buff. Like, he isn't necessarily hard, but he's, like, putting weaknesses and disorients on me, right? It's just, like, it's just annoying, you know? Like, he's annoying. But, man, right? Check it out. Once that weakness goes away, once the disorient goes away, the node, those armor breaks, spoiler alert, they ain't leaving, man. So that means that Joe Fixit is gaining absolutely 0 power for the rest of this fight, right? Gonna go for the special 1, strike back, doesn't even matter. Finish at a full yellow bar, baby. Another one flushed right down the toilet. Up next, man, we have a little bit of an Abyss montage. So Knull is absolutely insane in Abyss, dude. Absolutely insane. I'll spare you the ramp up. I'll tell you though, right here, I'm looking at it right now. I started this fight 2.5 minutes ago, right? I'm not gonna make you watch medium heavy for 2.5 minutes 4 times. But in case you're about to do Abyss, you're thinking to yourself, maybe I'll bring Knull in for a few fights. Keep in mind the ramp up takes about a little over 2 minutes, and then you start getting stuff like this. And it's crazy, man. Like, Knull, throughout the majority of this video, is not going to be fully ramped up. It's just not necessary. But when the health pools are over 3 million health, you honestly, you don't need it. You don't need it, but you kind of like might as well, man, because like, why not? So now the strat here at this point is one of 2 things. You can stay super aggressive and stack even more armor breaks up with the special 2, or you can get to the special 3, right? And you can add another corruption timer, okay? Now, it completely is going to depend on the AI here. As you can see, Iron Man's being a little passive with me, so I'm like, all right, I gotta go for a special 3 here, or else my armor breaks are gonna go away, right? See that? So now I have to pause them again. But guys, Iron Man is down to 28% health at this point, right? Now we're going for our second special 3 of the fight. And it's like, it's crazy to me because this, in my opinion, is one of the more annoying fights in all of Abyss. And Knull just like demolishes it, man. Like, absolutely demolishes it. And look, we still have 90 Abyss charges left. Could have went for an unblockable special 2 here, but we just finished it this way. And this was my first try, by the way. That's how good. That's not a flex. That's not me flexing like, oh, I'm so good. That's how good Knull is, man. Went in, first try with him. Iron Man can't evade on heavies and mediums while you're ramping up. So, like, the only way that you're gonna die is if you mess up, which is fair, I think. If you eat a special attack, if you miss a parry, you might die, right? But the most annoying part about Abyss, in my opinion, is when you're going through and you do whatever attack you do, and then they evade. And then they counter you, and you get stunned, and they combo you, and you're stunned again, and that's how you die. That doesn't happen with Knull, man, unless you miss a parry or mess up, because the true accuracy is so clutch, man. It is so clutch. So that was Iron Man. Who's after Iron Man? That's right, Invisible Woman. Now, Invisible Woman is annoying because, yes, she has her giant bubble, but also she puts those like power stings on you, and you get stunned if they expire, unless there's a debuff on the defender, right? So now here's an example. We're not fully ramped up. We were having pretty good RNG in this one, right? Where I had like, what, like 80-ish, 80th Living Abyss, and like 110. Well, no, I started with 15, right? So we got like 80-ish, right? Living Abyss in however many hits, right? No, we didn't. We got 65. 65 and like 110 hits, which is decent RNG, right? Math. We love math. We love math. Look at the yellow numbers. That's all we care about here, okay? So, yeah, we were getting some good RNG. I was saying to myself, you know what, man? She's got this bubble. It might be annoying. I think instead of finishing ramping up, I think it might be better if we start cashing in on some of this damage. Now, one thing about Invisible Woman is that she actually has like decreased physical resistance as well. So I felt like maybe we don't have to ramp all the way up against her, and we could just take advantage of that lowered, you know, physical resistance, right? Because that's to make up for like her bubble and everything, balance and all that fun stuff, right? We're gonna go ahead and go for a special 3 and refresh our stuff once again, all right? So far, this fight is going pretty well, and as I was saying before I got distracted by math and numbers and other stuff that I wasn't prepared to talk about, right? What was I even going to say? Oh my god, that this node here, right? The nodes on Invisible Woman is that unless you have a debuff on the defender, when the power sting expires, you get stunned. But with Knull, if you don't have a debuff on the defender, you did something wrong somewhere along the way. It's very hard to not have a debuff on the defender. It's just difficult in all seriousness, because he's one of the debuff kings in the game, right? As you can see, this Invisible Woman fight, we actually had less ramp up time. However, it took more hits still against, you know, towards the end because of the bubble. So she has less health. Yeah, that took about 50 more hits, man. So she's an interesting one, man. She's tough to solo. So there aren't too many champions out there who solo Invisible Woman. There are definitely a bunch, but we got through that pretty efficiently, man, at a full yellow bar, which isn't too bad. How about this guy, man? So I recently did the Karina's Abyss challenge with the rank 3 unduped Knull, no synergies, except for like 1 or 2 that also came along on the team. Now we got a rank 4 6200, no boosts, but synergies, yes. And I'm curious to see how good this Knull does, because my unduped rank 3 with minimal synergies got Darkhawk down to about like 45% health, and we definitely were not hitting this hard, right? So far, I'm feeling pretty good about my chances here. Again, oh my god, we parried the heavy, right? I'm actually not going to be going for my special 2 here, because that's going to put him in shield mode. And at that point, I'm going to have to hit him a few times while in shield mode to keep up the corruption. And that's going to have decreased damage in that time. So, you know, I only did this fight the one time. Maybe it would have been better to keep stacking them up. Who knows? But at this point, I'm looking at like my Abyss Chargers. I'm saying to myself, I can't really, you know, I can't really afford to lose too many of these things, so I'm going to go ahead and keep doing light intercept combos here, right? Until I have to refresh. I'm looking at his health bar go down. It's going down like 3% every combo that I do. I said to myself, okay, I think it's time for another special 3. Let's reset this bad boy. We're doing fine. We're pretty much at full health at this point, right? Darkhawk's going down. The only thing is just that combo counter. It's right there, staring at me in the face. 56. Look at that. He can't auto block our mediums, by the way, which is just absolutely enormous. And even with the shield mode active, man, we're doing a lot of damage. We were doing a lot of damage there, right? Even through the shield. 23% health left. 38, 37, 36, 35, 34. Oh my, dude. Dude. Are we joking? That's what I'm talking about, by the way. A few minutes ago, I was saying the only way you're going to die with Knull and Abyss is if you mess up, miss a combo, and then get stun locked. What happened? We got stun locked, right? But we're still in okay shape, guys. We're still in okay shape. We have 20 hits left. He's down to 15% health. You think we can do it? What do you think? Let's see, man. 41k medium at this point. I said to myself, why don't I start getting a little bit of degen going on in here? Sacrifice some of those armor breaks. 7% health left. 10. Go for the special one. Let's heal up to full. Let the degen do its thing. I don't need those armor breaks anymore. Let's sacrifice them for the degen, for the healing. And we got through it, man, at a full yellow bar of health, which is definitely not too bad, man. We got a really fun one to finish off the Abyss montage. We got Deadpool, dude. One of the most specific and hardest fights in Abyss. Now, like I said, right? No healing whatsoever. You're going to see no healing because of despair, but also petrify. So in the time of ramping up, we got Deadpool down about 25% health because we're doing a lot of heal reversal here. Now I'll see if I parry him right there. You see that? The higher the power that Deadpool has, okay, he's going to be regenerating more. And when you parry with the Petrify Mastery, well, you can reverse some of that. You can reverse it, right? He's immune to the actual petrified debuff here. So I know that sometimes people use like Mr. Fantastic against like Old Man Logan in Abyss. Stuff like that. That tactic would not work here. You can't use that strat against Deadpool. Now, one thing that caught me off guard here, okay, is that at Sig 200, below 50% health, Defender's regen turn it to degen. So when I went to reverse a little bit of that healing, I noticed that Deadpool's regen, oh, it's still there. Well, spoiler alert, guys, that regen goes away at some point. Maybe it's a bug. I don't know. It's probably when he would trigger his actual, regeneration buff, which happens, I think, at 20% health or 18% health, something like that. What I was doing here was I was using the downtime when corruption fell off to stick a couple more living abyss debuffs on so I can have some more armor breaks. I'm getting a little stressed out by the combo counter. I see, 33% health, but this guy has like more health than the other ones. So I'm saying this one's really going to be cutting it close, man. This one's really, really going to be cutting it close. And maybe, look, right here it is, right there. So we entered corruption, right? We entered corruption when he was below 50% health. So maybe that's what removed his regeneration. Might be a bug. Who knows? There's that other regeneration that's supposed to pop up at 20%. Regardless, it's a very specific interaction here. Not that big of a deal. But yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll ask about it. But 15% health, guys. And we're just like, I'm looking at the combo counter, and I'm looking at his health pool, and I'm saying to myself, man, they're getting very close. Deadpool's down below 10% health. I'm saying to myself, time for some degen, I think. I think it's time for degen. 5 hits left. 1 hit left. I said, you know what? Let's go for a special one. Unblockable special one. He's ticking down, guys. He's at 1%. I have unblockable specials, but... oh! EX Deadpool wins, guys. He's just too strong, guys. Deadpool is just, he's too cool. Look at him moonwalk. He's got the lights going. There's not much we could have done there, right? But in all seriousness, man, obviously super soloable with Knull. If I took more advantage of Petrify, he definitely would have been down. If I parried him like maybe 2 more times, he would have been down. But even if you don't, what's so great about Knull and like healing matchups is what makes Deadpool hard here is that, like, let's say you die, right? And your strat is to use a champion like, for example, Overseer, who can stack 7 debuffs and block healing. If that's your strategy and you die, you go back in, he's going to start healing very, very quickly. Very, 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 very quickly. And regenerate all the damage that you did. With Knull, if you go into a matchup like that anywhere, right? You start at a high sig with 15 debuffs. So even if you're doing this Deadpool with a rank 2 unduped Knull, right? He stacks debuffs very quickly. So you go in, parry heavy, parry heavy, parry heavy, you're pretty much good to go. If you go in with a rank 2 high signal, despair, you're really good to go, right? Point is, Knull is really good for this type of stuff. So now that the little Abyss montage is over, we have a little Labyrinth one later. Let's jump back into some Act 6 stuff. We're going to be calling on our buddy, Mr. Fantastic here, for a debuff siphoner to reduce the damage of the Caustic Temper poisons on Mr. Sinister here. Also, shout out to Heimdall and Angela for giving us the Fury buff that we need for this fight. So, this is an interesting one, right? Again, no healing, right? Blocking the healing right away. Knull is a very good Mr. Sinister counter because of that, man, if you run Despair. So, this fight, one of the harder fights in Act 6, obviously. Very specific. Heimdall and Angela makes it a lot more possible. Knull is naturally resistant to poison. That's what makes him so suicide-friendly, right? If you throw on the debuff siphoner from Mr. Fantastic, it is going to increase that even further. Right here, Backblast is really starting to tick us down. Again, another boss that we got through. Going special 1, special 2, essentially, right? If we didn't have that Mr. Fantastic debuff on, we probably would have fallen to 1% health a lot faster. So, Knull, not the best option for 6.2 Sinister, but hey man, if you have a fully synergized rank 4 Sig 200 Knull, well, then realistically you're probably past this part in the game. You're probably past Mr. Sinister at that point. So, I'm not sure where I was going with that. But he could do it. He could most certainly do it, man. So, let's jump to some 7.4 now. This is a fun one, man. This is a really fun one. Bullet Time Super Skrull. I had no clue what to do against this guy when I fought him in 7.4. I had no clue. Knull is so good for it because those evade charges, they don't exist. They don't exist because of our mediums, right? Now, also on the special 1, can't evade that. What's going to happen here is we're reparrying. We're reparrying to stack up those charges. And now, he has stun vulnerability, right? So right when Corruption was triggering, I said to myself, all right, let's dex. And when you dex on Bullet Time, whoa. What is going on here, man? What just happened to the video? Okay, let's try watching that again. Yeah, so basically, your stun vulnerability on Bullet Time when you dex, they go passively stunned. The Black Widow Deadly Origin is like that as well in 7.1, right? Dude, Knull completely shredded that. Flushed him right down the toilet like it was absolutely nothing, man. Took a little bit of finagling. There with the mediums to avoid the evades, right? And timing it just right. But man, he did a really good job there. So up next, man, we're here in 6.1 again to Crossbones. Now, I was just talking about that natural immunity to poison and also bleed. Now, of course, the poison that you might know against Crossbones here in 6.1, it's a poison that lasts for the 30 or 60 seconds, and it takes off all of your health. Now, of course, if you're resistant to poison, it's not going to take off all of your health because you're going to be either resistant to it, but also healing if you run willpower, which you should be running, right? So, dude, we're down to 60% health here, and we've used 2 specials, right? 3 specials now with recoil. We're kind of going for like the special 1 strategy here, right? I don't want to push Crossbones to special 2, so I'm going to stack up those degens, right? It's also going to heal us up a little bit. That seems like the way to go for this boss on power struggle, right? Just chain those special ones. There's definitely some merit in that, you know, play style of using Knull, right? Just chaining the special ones. You're essentially always in corruption that way. You're kind of teetering back and forth there on, you know, having armor breaks and living abyss, and armor breaks and living abyss. I definitely see a lot of merit in that if you ramp him up quite a bit beforehand as well. But you know, for this size health pool, I usually like to jump right in, so I like to go special 1, special 2 regardless. But being in corruption the entire time is a very nice thing. Now it's time for some Labyrinth stuff, and again, I will spare you the ramp up, because it's long, and honestly, it's boring. It doesn't really feel boring doing it with Knull, I'll tell you that. But like watching it back, it's like, okay, cool, we're doing medium, cool, we're doing heavy attacks, cool. But when's the fun stuff gonna start happening? When are we gonna start seeing some big yellow numbers, dude? That's why you clicked on the video, right? To see the big yellow Knull numbers. And that's what you're gonna see, that's what I'm gonna show you. It's going to happen right now. 99 Living Abyss, 0 power on Star-Lord. You cannot ask for a better situation here, right? So, we're also, by the way, pretty much at full health. We took 3 hits. Oops. But, dude, oh man, we're starting out strong with a 39k medium, dude. Pretty much 40k mediums, 40k light attacks, bait out the special 1. Look at the power gain on Star-Lord, dude. We're just doing like full combos into this guy, into a special 2. And even still, he's not at a bar of power there. It's like we took off 25% of his 3.3 million health pool there. In the span of him getting a bar of power, which I think is kind of crazy, man. I just think it's like really crazy that it just happened again too. Again, we just did it. Like, it's just nuts, man, when you can ramp this guy up. It's making me so excited for like future stuff like Grandmaster's Gauntlet, right? If they do another one of that, Grandmaster's Gauntlet Part 2. Although I think they're bringing back the first one. That hasn't happened yet, so I doubt we're getting a second one anytime soon. But dude, we finished that at a full freaking yellow bar. So most Labyrinth fights I find to be like pretty similar to the rest of them. So let's just jump to a freaking fun one, man. And as you can see, boom. It's been a while since I fought this guy. So his special 1, not like 100%, you know, right out of the gate there, good to go on evading, but we got it the second time, right? As I was ramping up, I was essentially, you know, blocking hits, going for heavy attack counters, doing medium, backing off, right? But we're ramped up. We are ramped against the Maestro here. Now, this guy has pretty much as much health as Star-Lord, and what makes him rough here is like, as you saw, right? That special 1, it can, if it clips you, it could do some damage. But Knull's a bit of a tanky beast, man. He's a bit of a tanky beast. So, again, So I believe, like, he has, like, specific class nodes against, you know, different classes. I think against Cosmic Chance, he nullifies buffs on when he hits your block or something like that. I don't know, but I remember when I fought him with 4-star Medusa for the first Karina's challenge, he was, like, very easy compared to, like, you know, I know against tech champions, he gains, like, the random buffs, and that's when it's actually hard, right? So I feel like Cosmic is actually a good class to fight him with. So Knull is really good for Labyrinth in general, man, because of that. Unfortunately, he's not metal or a hero, so you can't benefit from the white Magneto pre-fight on this guy, which would be really great all throughout Labyrinth and stuff like that. But, I mean, as you can see here, he just doesn't need it, man. And there's videos of rank 3 and even 5-star Knull doing this against, you know, Maestro and other Labyrinth fights. So he doesn't have to be rank 4 to be this good for this kind of stuff. He really doesn't. He could do it rank 5 unawakened, really, without, like, much of an issue, right? Let's go for a special one. Can we dex it this time? We got it. We freaking got it, man. We're learning. We're learning. I always tried to push him to a special 2 when I was doing it with the 4 stars. It's just easier, man. It just takes the thought out of it, right? But let's see what a nice big special 2 can do here. 100 armor breaks. Can we get a crit to finish it off? We can. But that's all right because we are so close to being done. Ooh! He dexed my heavy attack. Can we bait out a heavy? We can. And we'll counter with ours. We want to finish at a full yellow bar, 99% health. Close enough, right? Now let's take a look at the second Darkhawk video, second Darkhawk fight in this video, right? This is 6.4 Darkhawk. There's like, he has power reserve, force of will, cool, right? I actually tried to fight this Darkhawk with Gamora. I was very sad to learn that he had force of will. Couldn't do it. Well, I guess you could do it, but like, you know, I wanted to shut him down with Gamora. Unfortunately, couldn't shut him down. But that's fine, man. It's totally fine. So the strat here is pretty simple, and you might be shocked to hear it, but we're going to go for special 1, and then we're going to go for special 2. There's Hurt Locker, so we do have to watch out for that. Now, what's so interesting about that first synergy that gives a Fury when the defender is immune to something? When the auto block fails against Darkhawk, MODOK, for example, Iron Man Infinity War, any champion that like has like an auto block, you know, you can't be auto blocked on his mediums. You gain the Fury buff when they're... It's like... It's interesting. It's interesting because the synergy reads, when the opponent is immune to an effect, gain a Fury. So, are they immune to their own auto block? Like I've been wondering that for a bit. It's even like in like Abyss and Labyrinth when like you fail an evade, you gain it. So it's like, what are they immune to? Is it a bug? It's not, it doesn't feel like a super overpowered bug to me. So like, I mean, hey, leave it, you know, but it's just one that doesn't like make sense to me. You know, it just doesn't make sense. But regardless, man, it's done. It's just freaking done here. Quick and easy, man. Just quick and easy. Up next is another fun one. We have Guardian. Guardian here on freaking Power Shield in Act 7.2. So obviously we've seen some big special 2s from Knull. This is Power Shield, man. Power Shield, he makes those special attacks a little bit bigger. I believe it's 400% bigger, right? We're going to go for the special 1 here, unblockable, also cannot be auto-blocked, so don't have to worry about that. I feel like the unblockable synergy is very nice here against Guardian, you know? Take away the armor up anyway. And we got 39 armor breaks, man. Let's go for a special 2. Can we get a crit? Ooh, man. That was like 200k at the end, dude. I mean, like... that was almost like death by special 2. If the first part crit, it would just be glorious. It was glorious. It would have been more glorious if the whole thing crit. But that's kind of like, you know, speaking the obvious, right? All right, this next one is actually really fun, man. 7.1.2 Green Goblin. This has like redlining and like some other stupid nodes that don't really matter. But the fun one here is we have Power Reserve, right? And also increase combat power rate above 1 bar of power. So what we're gonna do is gonna build up to a special 2 very quickly while ramping up. And then we're gonna be right back near another one, and it's gonna be a really fun time for everybody involved except for Green Goblin, okay? So check it out, we also have the Energize buff. Look, we're already above of our power, boom, boom, boom. Enormous, gonna go right into a special 2. All of those D-gens going, right? We're gonna stack up another corruption. Gonna go for another special 1, stack even more D-gens, and here comes the corruption timer. One more special 1. Like I was saying not too long ago, I can see merit in going for that special 1 rotation sometimes, man. Because like it's very effective. That was an effective fight, dude. Like, that may have been, like, better than most of the special 2 fights, where we go special 1, special 2. Maybe it's because of Power Reserve that it felt that way. I'm not sure. But, you know, because we did go for a special 2 to add additional armor breaks, so we weren't just removing our original armor breaks. Not entirely sure. I'd have to think about it more. I'm pretty happy with the special 1, special 2 rotation, but that was just pretty sweet. Up next, 7.4.4 Annihilus. This is another fight in 7.4 that the other, a few weeks ago when I did 7.4 live, I had no clue what to do. I used Hercules and it was fine. I still have no clue what to do. There's so many things going on. There's passives. I see passive 75. No clue what that means, man. But Knull is one of those champions, in all seriousness, where you can just not know what's going on and you can do what you always do, and you're gonna have a good time. That's kind of just like the type of champion that he is. I do believe like you have to like dash to get it above 100, and now you get a Fury. So yeah, that's what it is. Cool. I believe there's parry vulnerability, so we got a Fury buff because we parried, right? Annihilus is just one of those annoying defenders in general. I find his specials very annoying to evade. So one thing I love about fighting him with Knull is that I limit his defensive combat power rate, so I have to bait less specials. So that felt like that felt like fine, right? It felt like pretty good there. You know? Up next, man, Act 6.3.5, Mysterio. This is the one with tunnel vision, right? If you do the same move 2 times in a row, you're gonna get a falter. This guy has got big power gain here, right? We're gonna try our best to avoid that once we get some armor breaks on him, you know? There's also, what is it, Matador, right? So, we're only going to gain power when we bait out special attacks from this guy. We're actually going to go for the special 3 against him. The reason being, because I want him in corruption for as long as possible, okay? So bait out 1 more special 2 from this guy, and then we're essentially going to be really good to go, okay? So, there we go. Boom. Now we're just going to wait out this little timer here so that he doesn't reflect all the damage right back to us, because that really wouldn't be too fun. Right? There we go. We got 24 of these bad boys going. Now we're going for the special 3, the amazing special 3 animation that I usually only see in long form content. So whenever I get to see it in like an actual boss, that always feels pretty good. And yeah, man, still got to be mindful of, is it Mixmaster here? No, it's not Mixmaster. It is Tunnel Vision. That's the note, because he'll put the falter on us if we're not careful. We're going to take a bit of damage back there, unfortunately, but we had to do the light attack. That way, we can keep our falter, our armor breaks up, but now we're going to turn those into living abyss debuffs, right? That'll get converted back into armor breaks in just a few seconds now, right? When the corruption timer goes back again. So there we go. We have our 24. We're waiting out here, that damage back period, you know. Unfortunately, Knull does not have a great way to counter miss, aside from just like playing carefully. So that's what we're doing here. We're stacking up the degens. It's like fine, you know, this fight is like fine. He's no Gamora here. But yeah, we did like fine. The degens will finish him off here. That was like, okay, man. That's a tough fight, man. It's a tough, specific fight. That's what I was saying the other day. It's definitely a very tough, specific fight. All right, man. Iceman, 6.4.1. Matador again. Okay? So, with this one, there's heal block. So what I like to do is bring along Nick Fury and Punisher 2099. And that is going to remove all the debuffs at the start of the fight when there's a cold snap. That's my little life hack there when you're fighting Iceman here. I enjoy fighting this Iceman, especially on champions who like to spam specials. You know, I want to make sure I'm set up just right here when corruption ends. Right here. There we go, man. Look at his power. Look at his power. Look at where we are. Beautiful, unblockable special too. This is exactly what we want. Nice, 39 armor breaks on this guy. And we can just kind of like roll like this, man. Now, we brought along, of course, the synergy that when Iceman is immune to our bleeds on light attack, our instant bleeds. We're gonna get the Fury, we're gonna have the Fury the entire fight, man. Gonna finish it off here with the special 1 degen, and we finish at a full freaking yellow bar once again, man. Once again, full yellow bar finish. This next one was like kind of boring, so we're not gonna watch like most of it. It's ebb and flow heavy, and I after recording this fight, I went and recorded like a couple other, you know, throughout the process. A couple other ebb and flow intercept, ebb and flow knockdown, ebb and flow heavy. And I do not like Knull on these nodes, and I'll show you why. Right? This is actually ebb and flow heavy, so the little passive damage back icon will not go away unless I do an actual heavy attack. But the reason why I don't like it is because you'll see in just a second here, we're cashing in, you know, on that passive cruelty for just a second. But once the ebb and flow timer comes back, well, all the debuffs are gone. So while there is not a shadow of a doubt that Knull can get through this fight very efficiently and be sustainable the entire time, it's long. Because the debuffs come and go. It's just boring to watch, man. I'm not going to make you watch something boring, you know? If I wouldn't want to watch it, I'm not going to make you guys watch it. So we'll skip to the part where he goes like immortal, and I was thinking to myself, ooh, I'll heal block him. That's going to be fun. But right before he heals, I was like, dude, Jesus freaking Christ, man. The ebb and flow heavy, dude. So yeah, there are a few fights like that I recorded. 7.3 Warlock, I believe, had like ebb and flow something as well. And then I went to fight 7.3.5 or 7.3.4 Iron Man Infinity War. And again, just like this, it's like, yeah, super simple. He could do it very easily, but he's immune to armor break there. And like, while he can do it and he's efficient for it and he can't be auto-blocked and he has unblockable specials and all that fun stuff, it just takes a long time to do the fight when they're armor break immune. You can't have your arm breaks on. So one place I don't like Knull is against champions who purify debuffs. A lot of them. Against nodes where you're going to lose your debuffs or can have your armor breaks. So that's where I don't love Knull. There aren't too many places I don't love Knull, but that's just one example, man. And, you know, I had like 2 or other ebb and flow fights that I did, and I was like, I'm just going to cut it. I'm cutting them because it's just, they're boring to me. They're boring to do. They're boring to watch. But let's move on. Moving on with Sentinel in 6.1.6, the Sentinel that guards the Cavalier title, dude. Now, This one, again, has fisticuffs, just like Variant 1 Ultron, right? So for the first, like, 30 seconds of the fight, we're not going to be able to build any of our Living Abyss debuffs. So this is another place where it's like, dude, I invested 186 stones into Knull, so I could start with 15 debuffs. In reality, that's probably a better option for me to use here against fisticuffs, right? He can do it, but it's kind of like, you know, using an unduped Knull starting 30 seconds into the fight, you know? So this is definitely not my favorite fight in the entire video. It's fine, and it's like an important fight, in my opinion, in MCOC. You know, the Sentinel that guards Cavalier, I think it's definitely important. I like to throw this one in there because of that. But, you know, What I actually want to do is I want to build up at least 15 Living Abyss debuffs before I go for the special one. That way, it'll kind of be like I kind of had my stuff at the beginning, and it would feel a little bit better that way, right? So I think at this point, I'm going to go for the special one after one more combo right here, because there's also a Hurt Locker, right? So now I'd love to build up to a special 2 if I possibly can, but even 22 armor breaks against this guy is going to be decent. In a perfect world, we end on like 30, but 27 is just going to have to do, right? Fine enough. Now, unfortunately, it is Sentinel, and he's pretty much fully ramped up analysis-wise at this point, so I don't expect to see any crits for the remainder of this fight, right? So what I could do is I can go for double medium combos here, right? And I can go ahead and put some degens on, but as you can see, man, he was being very passive here. I couldn't hit him any longer. He was pretty much at 3 bars of power. We can go for a special one here, but the armor breaks are just falling off. So this fight, annoying, right? Slow and annoying, but also efficient. And Knull, of course, like he does, was like fine, right? He was like fine in this fight is pretty much how I would describe it. So let's move on to a fun one here, man. This is Tigra in 7.2.5. I think it's like heavy assault here. So if we crit on the heavy, that's going to do some nice damage. And also the degen on the heavy attack, once we're corrupted, that's going to have a nice bit of a attack increase there. So we're going to have some fun with that. No doubt about it. Encroaching Corruption is going. Watch out for that unblockable special one, right? Stack up a couple more Living Abyss, and we're good to go. We're good to go. Inverted controls on Tigra, whatever will she do? Let's go for the heavy attack. Oh, that was enormous. Look at how the degens are ticking very, very nicely. Again, another enormous heavy attack, and this was definitely a very fun fight here. Very fun. This is like a quick and easy Act 7 boss, man, but definitely a fun time. And finish it off with a nice heavy attack on heavy assault. All right, up next, man, Act 7.3.1 Ultron. Now, this is an interesting one. He's got Armored Assault, so whenever he would have an armor up buff, he's going to be unblockable. But Knull kind of doesn't like armor up buffs. He's scared of them. He's like we don't want any armor up buffs here, man. So he kind of goes out of his way to get rid of armor up buffs at every chance that he can get. So his mediums, his heavies, they turn armor up buffs into Living Abyss, right? As you can see, one popped in there. Every now and then it pops up, but as you can see, armor up, it went away, Living Abyss. And also the mediums and the unblock and the heavy attack, like I was saying, man, he can't evade. So Knull in general is a very good Ultron counter here for both Ultrons. We're gonna go for a nice big special 2 here. 50 armor ups, the armor breaks. The armor breaks keep happening because he keeps trying to gain his armor up buffs. So for the tech defenders who just love, man, to gain those armor up buffs, Knull is very good for those because those are consistently going to be turning into Living Abyss, right? And then armor break debuffs in Corruption. So a champion like, for example, Civil Warrior, who uses his special one and gains 4 armor up buffs. That's going to turn into 4 armor breaks, so he's really fun for champions like that. Speaking of removing armor ups, boom. How about that? This is Chitinous Thorns. So if we were to hit Venom in 7.1.2, while he had that armor up on, well, we'd bleed, which would be okay because we run 3 out of 3 Coagulate, and also we have a nice beefy resistance to bleed naturally. But the Living Abyss, man, it's got our back. There's an armor up. The special one got rid of it, but it snuck 2 bleeds on us, man. That's alright. Not too concerned about it. Once we get the corruption on, we're not going to have to worry about seeing any armor up buffs ever again. Boom, done. Just done, man. Let's go for a nice, beefy special 2 with the Foresight Fury. Not too bad, man. Gonna go for some heavy attacks to regen, because you guys know we like our full yellow bars. Unfortunately, only 94% health there, but we'll have to take it, man. That's a cool angle. That's a cool pause right there. He's just looking right at us. All right, we got 3 more fights, and we're going to start with one that is so mind-numbingly easy, it might as well not even be in the video. This is 6.1 Ghost. The nodes aren't even worth talking about, but it's Ghost, man. And what happens when you put armor breaks on Ghost? She turns into a potato. And as you guys know, we love turning champions into potatoes on this channel. Potato Ghost in 3, 2, 1. Done. How about those armor breaks? If you're fighting Knull with Ghost, don't. That's my advice for you. How about that? Quick and easy. All right, on to a real fight. 7.3.2, Old Man Logan. This is Lazarus, right? Lazarus, which is going to heal him. Look at those debuffs, though, right? When he gets to 0% health, unless we're at like 100 combo. Also, Faltering Mind every 10 hits. This is like one of those fights that's not like super hard, but you really got to know what's going on. You really got to be paying attention. It's a fight that Knull is like fine for, but in reality, a champion like Human Torch is going to demolish every single aspect of this fight, right? That's pretty much who this fight was made for. He's going to reverse healing. He's going to not miss, right? But what I'm doing here is I'm counting my combo, where the special 1 ended at a multiple of 10. The special 2 ended at a multiple of 10. And why am I doing that? So at the end of the special attack, the falter begins, right? Not here, though. Here, I just wanted to get the corruption going again. But the reason why I'm doing that is essentially so I can back off afterwards and then wait the falter out. Unfortunately, we lost all our armor breaks, but fortunately, he's down to 18% health, so we don't have to worry about it too much, right? Because he's just about dead at this point. Now we're going to go for the special 1 again, go for some degens, right? Get the corruption timer going once more. 73 hits in, so he would be regenerating here. Let's see if he does it. Let's see if that bad boy regenerates. Dead. Just dead, man. Just flush down the old toilet with the rest of them. And we got one more fight. One more fight. We got Ragnagod in 6.4.2. Unblockable specials. Aspect of death. What's going on? Am I getting a call? I was getting, oh my god, I remember, I was getting a call during that fight. And I was like, oh, come on. But we're good to go. We're good to go. We jumped back into it. There's prove yourself here. There's prove yourself, so I gotta get to a 15 combo before I can do any damage. We're gonna be fine now because that's essentially what it takes for us to ramp up with the special 1, right? So we do have to be a little bit mindful of his Boon of the Gods, right? His power gain. Not that big a deal, man. We're kind of treating this just like any other ordinary fight. We're going for our special 1, then we're going for our special 2, and then we're probably going to go for another special 2, maybe a special 1 to refresh some of that corruption, right? But yeah, man, our buddy Ragnagod is unfortunately getting flushed right down the toilet. I was hoping he would put up a little bit more of a fight, but it looks like he's just not going to, man. Going for the special 1 to refresh that corruption, hopefully just in time. Let's see if we're going to make it, man. We threw the special 1 right before it was expiring. Unfortunately, we did not make it back, man. So you want to throw the special 1 at the time where there's at least like that much space, but I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he was flushed right down the toilet, guys. He was flushed. He was just flushed. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. So that's the thing with Knull, man. To me, he feels like a very low-stress champion to play, where definitely there are ways to get the maximum out of him by playing in a specific way at a, you know, a high skill level or whatever, but like, dude, he's one of those champions where you can go in, kind of tap the screen, and he's going to do good stuff for you, man. So Knull, absolute freaking monster, man. A lot of people were requesting this video to be, like, long. I had no problem doing so. I do hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, I think it goes without saying, this video took a very long time to make. I do hope you enjoyed it. That would make it all worth it. If you did enjoy it, please do your boy a favor and drop a big ol' like. Comment what you think about rank 4 Knull in the comment section below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next maximum ultimate showcase coming to you the next time I bring a champion to rank 4, which is gonna be very soon. I think I know who I want to do, but I'll keep that to myself for now. Until the next time, this has been a long video already, so we're gonna cut it out. I'll be seeing you around.